Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock, the lesson is about to get started. In case you're new with us, there's a few things I'd like to show you to help you throughout the lesson. Okay, so if I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Everybody sounds bad when they're practicing. That's because practicing is trying things we can't do yet. When we try things we can't do yet, we can't do them yet. And it's going to sound like we can't do them yet, but that's only because we can't do them yet. That's exactly what we're here to do. About the time that you can do that, it's time to move on and practice something else. So all practice is going to sound bad, mostly. So I guess I'm just going to show you that today, that when I practice, it sounds bad. It's not going to be as much teaching as it is me trying to take all the concepts we've been talking about for the last several weeks on this song and trying to apply them. I will say there's a little bit of cheating going on because I'm going to be playing mostly stuff that I've heard other people do before or concepts that I think that I've used in the past. So this is all stuff that I've kind of already pre-practiced, but I haven't planned out what I'm going to play yet. You'll see me work through all that stuff. It's going to sound absolutely wretched. About the time that it sounds good, we're going to end the lesson, and you're just going to watch the progression straight through. So for all the haters out there who love to comment and point out all the stuff that I mess up, or if you just like watching me fail, this one's for you. These lessons are always guided and shaped by your questions, and if you're live with us today, there's a couple different ways you can do that. One is in the public live chat, and the other is the Ask Jamin a Question button, where you can ask me a question privately, and I won't share your identity in case you're afraid that your question is stupid. But it's not. If you're in the archives, though, then just open up the survey. At the end of that, there's a place where you can ask your question. I will say I frequently get questions from students in the archives watching a lesson from 6 months ago, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So please try to be as specific as possible. If you're watching this at LearnPianoLive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The PDF will often have additional video links inside so you can get more in-depth instruction on each of the topics. And if you're the kind of person who likes to print out the PDF so you can make the same notes on your physical version as I'm making during the lesson, now would be the time to do that. The MP3 is just a play-along track so you can practice more after the lesson. In traditional lessons, a teacher is going to actually present some new concept for maybe 5 or 10 minutes every couple weeks. The rest of the time is going to be spent applying and refining those concepts. Well, here I'm spouting off hours of new information every week, so it's totally unreasonable to expect you to actually absorb all of that. Instead, the goal of these live lessons is for you to find some little nugget of something that makes sense, but is a bit of a challenge, and for you to go practice it, because practice is where all the improvement's going to happen. So don't feel bad if you have to leave the live lesson when you find that little thing that you're going to practice. And of course, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind the live lessons or replay in the archives as much as you want. If these live lessons start feeling random or meandering, it's because they are, on purpose. So if you're the kind of person who wants classical training with a step-by-step method, then you're going to want to check out Kloppel Academy on the website. It's included in your live lesson subscription, so you can do both or either. And the upper levels are seriously hard work, but it's going to take you all the way from ground zero all the way up to being ready to enter any major music college as a piano major in classical or jazz. And thankfully, I think that's about all we need to cover before the lesson. So if you'd stick around afterwards and fill out the survey, I would love your feedback. But for now, let's have some fun and make some music. And welcome back, everybody, to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and this is the woman behind the curtain, the incomparable Kendra.
Guess what? I got to go to the mall with one of my friends. It was finally open, and
Oh, yeah, okay.
yeah, and we got to go to this kids arcade that we always go to. They have like, I don't know, 15 games, and you know, we just play games, and it's very fun. And we won the monster jackpot on one of the games and made the thing run out of tickets.
Wow!
Yeah!
Great job! High five!
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you were at an actual real place that was,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. And they were open.
They were open.
That wasn't your choice. Like, I don't know. I always feel weird. Like anytime I'm like, I went and got gas, people are like, you don't care about people's health. I'm like, everyone's got different opinions about whether or not you should be out or not. So,
right.
But you were out at a place because they were open.
Right.
And you're a kid anyway. So what's going to happen to you?
And there was only like one other like kid in the whole place. So it was
so you were
empty.
like, yes, socially distanced.
Right.
But
yes.
that was kind of happening in malls anyway before this whole thing because like they're dying and stuff. But I don't know. Whatever. So cool. I'm glad you had fun.
Thanks.
And you killed it with the tickets.
That was very fun.
So when we were doing the covering of Faded, there were several questions about, they mostly centered around keys and transposing and also slowing down and going through the different steps to covering a song. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's start off with the key of G flat and talking about this number system, because for some of you, this is a revelation, and for some of you, this is a curse. So I want to make sure that we can find some middle ground here. It's extremely useful, and for all of the musicians that I know, yeah, I'm going to go with that. All the musicians that I know and respect either consciously think this way or subconsciously think this way, so that a song happens in a key. So let's say we're in the key of C. Don't worry, if you came here for Faded, we'll get to Faded in just a second. We have spent, I think, like 5 lessons talking about Faded so far, so there's plenty in the archives to go check out too. But if we're in the key of C, that means that we're using these notes right here. And you could just remember, the key of C means that you're using all white notes and no black notes. But in Kenner, I'm going to have you jump around in the keys with me. The key of C really means that C is home base, and I'm going to call that number 1. And then we have these notes right here, this geography that happens between number 1 and the next number 1. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1 starts the whole thing back over again. So this is kind of I say geography, this is the context in which I'm thinking when I'm playing a song in the key of C. So if someone's like, hey, let's play whatever song, let's play it in the key of C, my mind goes to this geography right here. It's basically a straight line. If someone says, go ahead and take all the letters and numbers off here. If someone says, let's play in the key of A. So if you are classically trained and take like piano lessons from a regular old lady in the neighborhood, then you're going to need to memorize that the key of A is the key with 3 sharps in it. It's on if it's on the sharp side of the circle of fifths if you get that far, but probably the old lady didn't teach you the circle of fifths. So you got to remember there's 3 sharps in it, and it's an F sharp and a C sharp and a G sharp. And that is all true, and that's great. And then you have to like play your scales through, making sure you tuck your thumb and curve your fingers, and then you're going to be in the key of A. Cool. It's way easier for me. That's all that stuff is true. It's way easier for me to just think of the geography right here of like, I've got a little bump right here and a big bump right here, and the rest of it's all white notes. So the 3rd note and the 6th note and the 7th note, if you're counting, would be those. But really, I'm not counting notes when I'm going through. I'm just like in the key of A. A is the beginning and ending of it, and that's my geography, as I would call it. And so that means that if we put the numbers on here, this would be a number 1, and this would be a number 1. So I'm going 1, 2, Kendra, if you throw the numbers on there for us for the key of A, we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. It looks way busier with the numbers on there, and that is busier than my brain is actually thinking. If someone says, let's play a song in the key of A, I'm really thinking just about that geography. I've got my beginning point and my ending point, and then I've got all the notes that are in between. So if you take the numbers back off now, then we can see like this right here is really what my brain is seeing. It's just that pattern of like little bump, big bump, and those are all the notes that I'm going to be playing during that song. Okay, cool. And that pattern, of course, repeats over multiple octaves. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, cool. So then this song is in the key of G flat, or at least that's where Alan Walker, plays it or sings it. What does he do? Where he DJs it. Where he bees the song.
I think he's the producer and songwriter.
Okay, cool.
I'm not positive, but
I don't even know what that means. All right, so whatever he does to the song, he does it in the key of G flat, which in my mind, again, I'm not thinking about, well, the key of G flat shows up where on the circle of fifths, and that means it's got this many flats, and they got to go in this order. It's just like, that's the key of G flat for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And so that's why I said a lot of musicians think this way subconsciously, because they're not actually numbering them as they go through them. But it would be the first note, second note, third note, fourth note, fifth note, sixth note, seventh note in this pattern, in this geography. And this is a little bit specific to the piano, although I will say the first person who introduced me to the phrase finger trails was my saxophone teacher, Mike McMullen, and so it was kind of the same concept. Like, you just have to like memorize like where your fingers are supposed to go in what pattern. It's just a pattern of your fingers. It's not like a B flat and an A flat. It's just a finger trail. It's just something your fingers memorize. So the key of G flat for me is not more difficult than any other key, because it's a 7-note trail just like every other 7-note trail that there is. Now, those of you who've already tried this system and hate it, I know you're sitting there going, I know, but it's a lot harder than that. It's easy to understand, but it's really hard to do when you come down here and all you get is a word and a number, and you got to go number 1. Okay, we're in the key of G flat. Where is number 1 again? So if I were you, as soon as possible, if you're going to try this number system, and I would recommend that all of you at least try it for a lot of songs, because it's going to be really, really useful later on. Then you're going to want to try to not think about the letter numbers as you go through. G flat is a 1, A flat is a 2, B flat is a 3, a C flat is a 4. This is all way more brain work than I can do or do. So when you're playing through it, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, or not even thinking about the numbers, just this set of notes right here. And of course that would continue on through the next octave. So that's kind of the idea behind what we're trying to do here. The reason that we're trying to do that is because we want to be able to transpose this into any key. So if I play this thing in the key of G flat, this is a real world scenario here. I play this in the key of G flat, and I'm playing G flat, G flat, E flat. We'll go ahead and take the letters off there. I play this, the numbers, thank you. G flat, G flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, B flat, G flat, D flat, B flat, and I memorize all of those letters all in a row, and I go to play it, and the singer that happens to be singing along with me goes, yeah, that's good, but can we go up a little bit? Can we take it up a little bit? Then the drummer's like, sure, we can go up. I don't care what key you played. I'm just going to hit the same stuff. And the guitarist's going to take their capo out and put their capo on their guitar, and everyone's going to say, all right, I'm ready to go. And you're going to go, I just memorized all of these letters. Are you kidding me? I can't do that. So if you memorize songs in numbers or in scale positions, then when the singer says, can we go up? You go, okay, well, what key do you want to go up to? You go up a half step? Let's go to the key of G. Okay, cool. So now I'm in the key of G. I'm going to play the exact same positions. Go ahead and throw the numbers on there for me in the key of G. So now I've got the exact same numbers. 1, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 5, 3. So I'm playing the same positions in the scale, but now like all those letters that I memorized before, they're not relevant anymore, but I can play it in the key of G just as easily as I play it in the key of G flat, which is a really handy skill, specifically as a pianist, because we have to do this a lot. Pianists have I guess this is public, huh? We haven't gotten to the private part of the lesson. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyway. Pianists have a lot higher threshold of what they need to know in order to get through in a regular band than most of the other instrumentalists. Usually if I've got a question about how the song is supposed to go, I'm going to go to either the pianist or the bass player, because those two instruments, for some reason, tend to have a higher theory IQ than the other instruments in the band. In most cases, of course, there's always exceptions, but so it's just our job to be able to like do that. Like everyone expects, okay, the singer wants to sing it higher, so let's go higher. Oh, that's not high enough. Can we go higher? You go up to A and hope that they want an A. But like, no, it's too high. So we got to go to A flat. So whatever key it is that they're asking for, we just got to be able to just move to it, even though none of the stuff that we worked on before, learning how to play this song in the key of G flat, applies in the new key. That's the why. Okay, cool. Now let's get to Faded. Let's play this song. So we're going to be in the key of G flat, where this is number 1. Cool. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And again, the numbers are, I'm not really thinking about the numbers when I play through it. I'm thinking about the positions. I do think about this note right here. And it's really more the first note in a group of 3 than it is even a G flat or a 1. It's just a visual landmark as I go through my geography. I hit my home base right there, and then as I go up, I hit another home base, and so the notes in between, I'm very unlikely to hit wrong notes as I'm going through the key of G flat because I'm just playing through the geography. In the same way that when you drive home, you're not likely to take a wrong turn because it's just the path that you've been going a lot, and you don't really think about the names of the streets or anything. It's just that's the geography of the key of G flat. Don't worry about the letter names. Don't worry about the numbers, really. And then when we get to here, if someone says, oh, that note was a G flat, cool, you can play a G flat. And if someone says, oh, that was the one, you can play the one. It's the same thing. It's the beginning. It's the home base. In fact, this one too. I know, I'm doing a lot of talking. Sorry, you shut up for piano lesson. Also, I'm going to do a lot of talking. So there's also this thing where like you have to interact with other musicians who don't know what they're talking about a lot. And so they'll say the wrong thing. Like guitarists, for example, not that, yeah, sure. we'll let that one go. So guitarists will have a capo on. They'll be playing in the key of A flat and not know it because they're going to be using fingerings for like a G chord, but it's going to come out as something different, right? And so then they're actually playing an A flat chord, and they think that they're playing a G chord. You're like, what was that? And they're like, a G. And it's your job to like look and go, oh no, he's got a capo on. So actually, it's not going to be a G. It's going to be an A flat. So like knowing not only enough for you to play, but knowing enough for someone else to play. These are all a big deal. So that's why even if this feels like a pain to know these different scales and stuff, it's really going to pay off. I promise. So back to the song, we've got a couple ones in a row, and then you're going to go down to a 6, and then up to a 1, and down to a 6, and up to a 1, and up to a 2, and up to a 3. So a lot of the questions were, how do you know if you're going from a 1 up to a 6 or 1 down to a 6? And the fortunate answer is you just got to listen to it and see which one is right. So for this system here, if you've never heard the song before and you don't know whether it's supposed to go up or down, then you're just out of luck. You're not going to be able to play the correct 6 there. But this is really just a way to think in positions instead of letters. So if it said G flat, E flat, there you'd have the same problem. Is it that E flat or is it that E flat? And that's one of the drawbacks of not having the sheet music for it. So 1, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 2, 3. That's going to sound a lot more right if you've heard the song before than 1, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 2, 3. Okay, hopefully that made some sense. So you'll try them both out and see which ones sound right. Eventually, your ear will hear that stuff ahead of time. So you'll be able to just know that the 1 to the 5 there is going down and then up to the 3. And I always recommend that you sing along. Adults tend to be even more resistant to that than kids are. But singing along is, in my experience, extremely helpful in being able to predict the ups and downs in future songs. You were the shadow to my light. Did you feel us? 1, 1, 1, 7, 7, 7, 6, 1. And if I were you, I'd just practice that much. And the goal, again, is not this song being able to play faded. Maybe you're here because you want to be able to play faded. Cool, we'll go through that. But even if you hate faded and hate Alan Walker, then maybe don't stress out so much in life. It's really not worth it. And also, everything you practice on this song will pay off on all the songs that you try to do in the future as well. So just trying to hear the ups and the downs and trying to pay attention to the numbers in the key of G flat, that's going to pay off every time you have to play a song in the key of G flat. So 1, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 5, 3. 1, 1, 1, 7, 7, 7, 6, 1. That's how the system works. That's why the system works. And that's how we would get through this song, is maybe listen to it a few times so you kind of get an idea of what it's supposed to sound like. And then you go for those numbers. And then if we need to play this song, let's say in the key of A flat, where A flat is number 1. And the pattern looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Then you could play 1, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 5, 3, 1, 1, 1, 7, 7, 7, 6, 1. And the singer's like, no, never mind. I want it down. I actually wanted it lower. I didn't want it higher. Like, okay, what's lower than a G flat? Let's try the key of E. So we go to the key of E, where E is 1. You played the exact same thing, but in the key of E. In the key of E. And it would sound something like this. 1, 1, 6, 1, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 5, 3, 111777761. All right, that's the number system. The long answer for all of you who are wanting me to go into more detail. And yes, all of those, the keys, the geographies, along with the numbers are all in the beginning piano packet that you should all have access to a copy of. So let me know if you still don't have that, but it should be like in the free downloads in the student zone on the website. Okay, cool. So that's how that would all go. So if I play through, I'll go through the verse and the pre-chorus here. And we already did the first part. Oh, we're going back to the key of G flat. Sorry. Back in the key of G flat. So then, afraid our aim is out of sight is 1 1 6 1 6 1 2 3 1 1 5 3. And the other one would have sounded right too, unless you've heard the song before, and then you know that the singer goes up there 1 1 5 3 1 1 2, and then 3 3 3 3. 3 3 3 3, and a nice long pause, and then 3 3 3 3. Was it all in my fantasy? Is 1 2 2 2 2 2 1 1. Where are you now? Were you only imaginary? Okay, that's the system. That's all the numbers, and then we get into the chords down here. But honestly, the chords are gonna be kind of a more advanced thing. That's plenty for most of you to practice. We're in the key of G flat, which is generally considered like one of the hardest keys to play in. But like I said before, if you're thinking in geographies as opposed to like the sharps and flats that each key contains, all keys are basically the same. In fact, I find C to be one of the more difficult keys to play in a lot of respects, because there's no like land markers or anything. Like, it's just desert. There's no topography. There's nothing in there to like mark where you are. So if I go like this, like, I don't know where I am in the key unless I look for it or I listen really. Okay, that was a 6, I guess. Yeah, so I was on an A there at the end. But it's just, there's nothing marking any of the spots. But if I'm in the key of G flat, I know it's the bottom of that group of 3 right there. So there's plenty of ups and downs and stuff to help me out with that. So we'll get to the chords in just a second. But first, let's do our feature of the day, which today, in case you hadn't gotten enough theory already in all those chords and stuff, all those numbers and stuff, is the term mode. So a mode is just playing in a key, but having different alterations to the key. So let's go back to the key of C for a second, if we could. There we go. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. This is called the Ionian mode, also known as a major scale. Pretty much the exact same thing there. But if I were to, let's say, flat this 7 right here, this would be a different mode. It's like a major scale. It's like the Ionian mode, but it's got a flattened 7. So if we have a regular major scale, we have a flattened 7, that's a different mode. It's an alteration to the scale. So that this one would be called a Mixolydian mode. So the song is still going to begin and end on a C, most likely. But instead of having a B natural, I'm going to have a B flat. So it's kind of like a different key, but it's basically, it's based on C, but it has that one flat in there. And yes, if you did take your lessons from the old lady in the neighborhood, then you'll notice, wait, one flat, the B flat in the scale, that's not the key of C, that's the key of F. And you're right. It is the notes for the key of F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The key of F is all white notes except for B flat. However, when we play it like this, that is the key of C, because we're going to a C, but it's not really the key of C because it's the Mixolydian mode of C. And some of you have jumped ahead because you're in Clavicle Academy and you're doing major and minor scales and stuff. You're like, wait a second, a minor scale is just an alteration to a major scale. It's lowering the 3, the 6, and the 7. If you lower the 3, the 6, and the 7, you get a minor scale. So C minor is really just a variation on C major, and you're right, which is why C minor, a natural minor scale, is also known as the Aeolian mode. So there's 7 different modes for major scales. So 7 different ways you can alter major scales to get other modes. And so the minor scale, it's just really common, so we call it minor. But the mode name for it is Aeolian. So major scale is Ionian, minor scale is Aeolian, and then there's basically 5 other variations that you would use to take the major scale and turn it into something else. And all of those are related to other scales in the same way that when we lowered the 7, we ended up accidentally in the key of F, kind of, but not really. So when we make all the other alterations, we end up in other keys, kind of accidentally. So anyway, that's what modes are. It's when you take a major scale and you alter it and you end up with the key signature from a different key, but you're beginning and ending on notes that you wouldn't normally if you had that set of sharps and flats. If that made any sense, great. If it didn't, then let me know. I'll explain it in greater detail or send you a link to a video or something like that that we've done on modes. But for right now, we're supposed to get back to this thing after this short break. So sadly, the lesson preview has come to an end, and it's time to say goodbye to everyone watching the free streams. Of course, paying subscribers at learnpianolive.com can continue watching this lesson and several hundred others like it in the archives. So come on over and check us out, and if you like what you saw, at least like and subscribe, and then tell your friends to head on over to learnpianolive.com to start enjoying this journey with us.